Why are you stuck? Why are you stuck? Alright, you're just stuck because you're stuck. We have an empty chassis with a new screen attached to it. Cool. Okay, be careful not to do anything with that. 1174. Check my job queue, see what this is, because I do not have one of those memories that can remember everything. Which is why I write software instead that reminds me of what was going on. Let's see, for this thing here. Using a MacBook for a video call, died on a battery, left it charging. When I tried to turn it on, did not turn on. Went to the Apple Store. They said I have to change the whole logic board. Fair enough. That's Apple. Tried to look for defects on the board, but lack of knowledge stopped me from going forward. Already opened the MacBook, taken out the logic board and components, and right. Okay, so basically this shut down and never came back up. Cool. I like that kind of fault. I mean, I sincerely hope it's not a dead CPU, but I think, well, first thing we'll do is actually check that. Go to resistor mode. Hello everybody, by the way. Hello. Welcome. Should I say that I'm happy to have you here? Maybe. Depends. Are you going to behave? If you behave, maybe I will be happy. 3 ohms. Yeah, it's a little bit on the low side. Might be okay. That was the GPU, and the CPU is 5.4, so it might be okay. At least with water damage ones, we can always look at them and go, well, there's the damage, and try to fix it. With the downside of the damage may have destroyed everything. Where's the red thingamajig? You mean like one of these or one of these? Or one of the many other ones that I have that Harold's been very kind of to send me. Greg, you're never going to win with those. I know. It's not the sort of thing you want to hear, but you know and I know that that's the way it goes. It's not fair. I completely agree. But sadly, it's what it is. Then again, you can keep trying. By the way, this was a fun one. Someone had this lodged in their iPhone 13, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was a 13. And that was fun to get out. So this is some kind of cheap USB lightning connector. This is the end cap. You plug, this would go into the phone itself, the charge port. And yeah, it snapped clean off. So that was fun to get out. Anyway, managed to get it out. Okay, so let's have a look at this board. Okay, so we've got a 875 here. 840 of course, yes. It's got the Pi 3 USB chip there. Charge ports look okay. So anyone want to throw in their 2 cents of what they think this might be? I think my personal choice is it's probably going to be a cap that's shorted just spontaneously, and it might be just a itty bitty one, or it could be the ISL giving up the ghost. Is there a USB-C chipmunk yet? There are plans for one, but we haven't got it. Oh my god, what did I do with my tweezers? Okay, so this has copped a little bit of damage off the... Or has it? Nope, that's just my brain. Yes, sweetie. Hi, Momo. You're just being difficult. Oh, Momo. Why are you being difficult? Go play with your brother. He's like, Loki's asleep. Loki sucks. Poor little Momo. It's raining here, so it's a bit boring inside the house. Yeah, Travis, we can go straight for thermal, but I'd like to have a look first. Okay, first I've got to put some life back into my tweezers. Okay, so we've got a bit of an uppercut there on that. Try and squeeze the buggers back together. I kind of deviated that out a bit, unfortunately. No, that's good enough. Hey, Tony and Pro, Nick, DeAndre, I did see there, and Daniel French, Kenny, Jaden, Wes. Is it a calf or a cat that is shorted? Yeah. Well, we're gonna keep looking for this cap. It probably will not specifically. We get a lot of them failing on this PP bus here. In fact, we'll actually measure that. What do we got? And wah wah wah. It does not appear to be a short on the PP bus. Well, okay, things just got complicated. So we do still have the ISL as a possible. But like I said, I want to look for the obvious. And if I can't find the obvious, then we go and we start measuring things a bit more. So there's the ISL, and these are the 9239s as opposed to the 9240. Everything's looking pretty clean, which, as you know, is a distressing condition for people trying to fix the boards. We do like to have some level of visible damage. It just makes life easier. We can remain as the janitor mode or the brainless mode. But when they don't do that, when they don't give you any hints, then pulling out the whole brains thing, that's hard work. And it looks like we're going to have to do that. When is chat going with you to the Olive Garden? What? Why would... There isn't even any Olive Garden here in Australia that I'm aware of. Well, maybe there is. Certainly not in this region. Check the fuse. Working on a water damage SE, first gen, came all the way from Denmark to Argentina. What's the fault on that one? Okay, fuse is good. The first gen SE, I've done a couple of those. Let's see. Doing the TriStar on those is particularly terrifying. No cell phone stream? No, God, no. I don't have enough capacity on my cell phone plan for that sort of thing. I have the smallest plan I possibly can get. Okay, we've got 20 volts, 450. Is this thing just running? Is this thing maybe a bad battery? Although it's stuck at 450, so that's a bit of a concern. Okay, and it just shut down. That's not a good sign. And it's back to 450. That's a little bit of a strange behaviour, at least from what I understand. So it's going 20 volts, 450, then back to 450, 0, then 450, back to 0. So it might be something. Anyway, brain is perhaps a little bit too mushy. Corrosion all over, VCC main short, and then what is that, 60 milliamp upon prompt and loose. So have you managed to fix it yet, or is it still doing the 50-60 milliamp? Jason Vilmer's certainly the guy to talk to about that sort of stuff, but of course he'll be saying, I'm busy with my own stuff, which he is. And the guy is just flat out He barely gets 2 seconds to scratch his own butt, that guy. Hey, Jim. Maybe it's easier if I... Can you do full... Yeah. Alright, let's see how we go. Oh, Jason, are you serious? Welcome everybody to Jason Vilma, Mr. I don't get time to scratch my butt. Because I'm too busy fixing everybody's trash. Alright, so we've got an actual... Okay, I've seen that heat before. That's the camera though. The CPU's warming up, so we may actually have a dead CPU on this one. We've certainly got a dead software. Things are warming up kind of normally here. Maybe it's just a bad battery. That camera chip is definitely heating up. But like I said, that's somewhat normal, I think. Vince, you can say dead CPU if you have a legitimate reason for it. Yes. I mean, I've already postulated that it could be that. Okay, I'm going to put this into the chassis and see what's going on. But it's nice to have some iPhone fame in here. We don't get a lot of that. Most of the time we just get angry New Yorkers in here. So it's nice to have some wholesome Floridan iPhone repair skills turn up. And of course the best thing is it distracts you all from the trash fest that I am delivering to. I think we can all agree that Jason's style of video narration now is quite entertaining. I particularly like it. I wish it was something I could emulate, but then I'd just be, you know, stealing from him, so we can't have that. There is some honor among thieves. Did your wound heal well? Yeah, it's pretty good here. I'll give you a headshot. Yeah. I don't know if it's... So, I can't see it myself, but yeah, it seems to be all good. The leader's not complaining, so that's a good sign to me. Lewis is allowed to get triggered over things like that. He's done enough tours of duty, as it were. Yeah, he's done enough tours in life with MacBooks. Okay, well, we're going to stick the keyboard back in here. I'm not a fan of the way they've done the connector assemblies on this, but it is what it is. Hey Chris Stevens, hey DJ Craze. Head is beautiful inside and out. Well. That's not something normally here. Oh, I'm glad to know that I've got a lovely head. There are a few more large scars on that scalp, but we won't be showing them off today. If a leader is happy, that is all that matters. That is quite correct. Yes, that is the fundamental law of a happy marriage. and I do my best to adhere to that. I don't always succeed, but I do try. Okay, now the other thing I need here is this battery flex. Without the battery, that data flex, it's pretty much no good. I'm trying to think where I've got one. I do have a few of these 1708 chassis in various state of disrepair. Let's see if I can find one. Doink. Oh, no, wait. Oh. That's the great big Dyson. Get that out of the way. Oh, we were looking for you the other day. 9. Da. I think this is one. This one's water damage to hell from what I can see. Job 373. That's a long time ago. Hopefully the flex isn't damaged, but we'll see. Not even sure why I've got it. It was all water damaged. Ah, g'day Eric. How you going? Your repair jobs are also out of control. What are you just... Same sort of situation there, just too many of them, and yeah, that flex is far trucked. That flex is so far trucked. Yeah, toss it, Paul, toss it. Throw it in the bin. Good job. See, Nick's now using Jason's terminology there. Hey, JCT, did I already say hello to you? Yeah, I can get into a bad habit of retaining things that I really shouldn't, including information. Alright, all of those 1708s are no good. I have to go into the other room. Hey, Momo. How are you? Really? Come on in here. We'll have a look around. See if there's anything we can find. We're looking for a 1708 with a viable charge flex. Think we can find something? Hmm? Nope. That's a... look out. Oh, sorry. Your head okay? You got a bit close, didn't you? Test screen. Why do I have no charge flexes? I know one place where there is one. May have to resort to doing what I try not to do, and that is to plagiarize parts from another job for the sake of testing. Aha! Nice day for fishing now. Are you okay, Momo? Are you okay? Alrighty, we're back. Hey, Steve K. See, Eric, you got a bunch of tricky ones done. The one tricky one came back. Different. Speaking of which, after this one, I have a warranty job. It's a 1466, and I'm really going to be curious as to how it's a warranty job, because it was a blown PP bus cap, and it's just a little weird. Yeah, to be honest, the legs on that thing look really messed up. Are they even touching? Weird. That's not even, they're barely touching. Looks like Jason's left. You need to get some butt scratching done. I'm trying to be careful not to actually short circuit any of these because they are, obviously the battery is connected. They're connected, but yeah, it's pretty dubious. It's sort of like only connected on the underside and only just. Okay, these flexes for these 1708 batteries are actually incredibly expensive. No, this one I need to push to the front of the pile, and sweet mercy, where's the freaking... There better be the screw that I'm after in here. Please be in this pile of little screws. Nope. I'm after the large screw that goes into that particular position. For those who work on the 17.0 or have done work on the 1708, you will recognize that as being a rather unique screw which is not able to be replaced from anything else. And lo and behold, we do have that screw. Oh, and we've actually got the flex there. Alright, my bad. My bad. It was just all neatly packed away and I didn't look. So, technician error here. Please stand by. Yeah. Okay, we're still going to try our flex just to see what happens. What's happened to the pull cam? Hey Gavin. I don't know, I just sort of haven't bothered to switch it back on. It does kind of make it easier if I want to convert these streams later into edited videos to not have my face all over the place. My face usually gets in the way of something I'm trying to show. Alright, so we've got the new battery flex in there. Let's see what sort of behavior we're getting. So we had 20 volts, straight away 450. It's very 600 now, 595, 600, 700, so it could be charging the battery. Fan spin. Stopped fan spinning. 708. It may take 2 minutes or so for if we are going to get a logo. I do wonder if maybe instead of actually a failed computer we have a failed screen. Because this is a refurb screen. See you, Kristen. My brain's making up stuff, thinking I can see something there. I cannot. CPU is definitely warm. Current is steady at 700. Much concerns. Okay. What are you trying to do, Paul? What are you trying to do? Oops. Alright, so we get power. Do we get anything else? Ooh, it dies. Come on. Please give me a green blink. Unfortunately, I am getting a number of these turning up now with dead CPUs, so it is a bit of a problem. The fact that it's warming up, yeah, it's definitely warming up, and we are not getting any activity. We most definitely should be getting activity, but we are not. I'll plug the speakers in, see if anything comes out of them. Uh, It's always very difficult deciding to declare something as a dead CPU because you just get this niggling sensation in the back of your brain that maybe you got it wrong. Maybe it really is just some other simple fault, and if you spend just 10 more minutes on it, you'll discover what that fault is. That's how you get caught into these things. I don't know. If I was getting CPU activity on the Chipmunk, I would consider it maybe to be a screen fault, but like I said, we're not even getting any activity. So unfortunately, and I've got no beeping. Cap locks. I've got no cap locks. Yeah, I've got nothing. I'm gonna have to say this is probably dead CPU, which is really unfortunate, but it seems that way. Like I said, we've got heat there. Yeah. And yeah, we're up to SO, we've got 5 volts. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but it's not in our favour, that's for sure. And the fact that it goes straight to 450 and the heat is coming out of here, it's just a bad sign. It is charging the battery, but that's pretty much the limit of it. So I think I'll have a check on a couple of other things, but I think this is unfortunately dead CPU. And that sucks. It really does suck. For both myself and for the customer. I mean, fortunately the data's on there. On the separate drive. So that's a win. But yeah, we are seeing a number of these 1708s coming in now as dead CPU. And it's a bit saddening because I quite like the 1708 as a system because it's got the removable drive and the board's fairly straightforward. It's got a couple of signature faults which are not too bad to resolve. Throwing pens around. And so when they do die like this, it's like, much sadness. And this has just had a new screen put on it, so that adds insult to injury. Alright, looks like we'll have to just move to the warranty job now. And I'm just getting too many of these dead CPUs or dead SD RAM. Yeah, it's just it's becoming a real nightmare. I'd say easily half of the jobs that come in are unrepairable, and usually you don't find that out until too late. No, you've already invested an hour or so of time in there. Check CPU voltages. Yeah, I'll do that maybe tomorrow. Because right now I'm switching over to the warranty job, and as a consequence, you're gonna have to see my face now, because this. Well, we've got heat in the CPU coming out, and it's fairly even heat by the looks of it. Just, get the bottom of the screen off. The 1708 screens, they're not too bad. They're about $500 if you want a good one. Not cheap, for sure, I agree. Let's revert back to the overhead, since we have not me. Charlie on order yet? Nope. Yeah, I just keep forgetting. Okay, so they have put a new battery in. That's the other thing. They put a new battery in. Could it have been something that... It's very unlikely on the 1466 when you put a new battery in to actually do any damage. It's not like the 1278s or anything like that. Looks like some new corrosion. Oh no, that's on the DCM board. I wonder if the DCM board's actually at fault. Let's cover that up. Let's see what happens when we try to apply power. It kind of helps if you turn on the power supply port. Yay. Alright. Completely nada. It's a nada. Okay, let's see what our 342 is. But yeah, that's definitely down and out. 1.3, we definitely got something holding the bus down. 7.7, yep, something's choking off. What's the bet? It's going to be a freaking SMC. It's going to be one of these scenarios where it's not really my repair that went wrong, but rather second or third item went wrong on the board. But it was not something that would have perhaps been picked up in the original repair. I'm kind of hoping it will be something that I can say, actually, this is your fault. But I don't think I'll be that lucky. Let's see what the resistance on PV bus is. It doesn't seem right. 1.9 megs. Am I probing in the wrong places? Weird. I'm almost certain it shouldn't be that high. Hey Jim Allen, welcome. Nick Vasey had Uni T thermal camera delivered. Haven't had a job turn up that had a short since. Ha! Yeah, that's typical. Fancy new toy turns up and you don't get to use it. So very normal. Now, as far as I remember with this one, it was one of these caps up here that we swapped. Winning rod. Just realised I better put the sticker on this their drive. Do not want their drive floating around this workshop without having its proper ID attached. Okie dokie doke. So it's not a shorted PP bus that we know of. So no. I'm starting to fear it's the SMC, but hopefully we're lucky and it's the DC inboard. You know, I should actually test that first by just plugging in a spare DC inboard. Doesn't matter that we've disconnected all that. We'll just pop a chipmunk on. Sadly it's not the DC inboard. Well, that's just kind of sad. It would have been a nice win. Oh well. So much for luck. Hey, Andrew Hughes. The thing is, this has actually been running for 3 months out in the field. So I'll be slightly exhausted by now, all that running. Yeah, so it's been working for 3 months, and then yeah, I got the message, so it's back in the shop and it's doing the same thing. And by the same thing they just mean, well, it doesn't work, it doesn't turn on. But of course, as we know, the same thing is not always meaning the same same cause. It's just the same symptoms. Son of a gun, this is a 165. If I take that heat sink off, if there is a dead PCH under there, I will scream. But it doesn't feel like a dead PCH fault yet. Why can't you replace the CPU? Well, they could, but I don't. A, getting a source of good CPUs. B, just the drama of trying to replace the CPUs. Yeah, you gotta have the proper equipment. I know some people just use a Wagner and a chisel and they get away with it. There is corrosion on the top of that HS105 chip. That is a itty bitty, teeny weeny, tiny spot of corrosion, but that might be it. Though the pattern doesn't quite fit. But that will need replacing. But that is a tiny amount of corrosion. It's a fresh bug. Hey Keith. The fact that 342 has been pulled down makes me think it is the SMC. But yeah, that itty bitty teeny weeny tiny whiny spot there of corrosion, it might have just be bad luck, that one, but yeah, I'm fearing an SMC. Basically, if I take the SMC off and 342 is restored to proper levels, then yeah, we know it's the SMC. Unless the 342 itself is dodgy, which we have definitely had happen. It's a very peculiar fault. It tends to be a case where the one of the resistors, the divider resistors that set the voltage, they drift. And the weird thing is it actually drifts downwards rather than up. I'm having a hard time finding the replacement cap that I put in. I'm pretty sure it was one of these. I suppose that's a positive thing. Oh no, there it is. There's the one. That's the one that got replaced. I suppose we should check the resistance there. Have you received repairs from France yet? I have not. I generally probably wouldn't take repairs from France, or anywhere for that matter. Mostly because doing international shipping is fraught with disaster. Yeah, we definitely do not have a short on PP Bus. So this is a different fault. I already have looked at the job notes. I just didn't remember exactly which. I knew it was one of the big capacitors. Crikey. Well, the first thing I'll do is swap that HS105 switch, but I'm really not feeling that that's the fault. I feel like that little spot of corrosion is purely just it's a nothing spot. I'll be happy for the universe to prove me wrong, but I'm fairly sure it's just a nothing spot. And it also should not inhibit the charging or the initial power up. That's the problem. So I think I'm going to pop this SMC. God damn it. It could be a mistake, but we'll see. A full wave. Alexander Gregg. Mrs. got her stickered MacBook back to her. Oh, cool. Excellent. And I presume it's working, of course. Yeah, there was a lot of stickers on that one. It made it hard for me to find a place to stick my sticker. But I'm glad it's back. And like I said, I hope it works. That took a little while, though. That should have been there Monday. So I'm not sure what the delay was on that. Because yeah, that should have been delivered to you on Monday. I don't know if tonight. I don't know if the rebuild will go any better tonight. I need to have some quiet time with myself and the hot air station, discussing matters. Hey, Warren Stamps. B Blood, you got a HOA home? That's unfortunate. I suppose sometimes you... Do you feel locked in with that, or financially crippled by it? Right, here we go. Ruining the perfectly good ultrasonic clean job I did on this. I hate that so much. I hate having to re-wash boards that I've washed. There's just something intrinsically painful about it to me. You watch, it's not going to change 342. Okay, there's no there's no crossing over of contacts there or anything, so that's good. Turning on the fume extractor would have been a good idea before I started that SMC job. Ever had anything successfully arrive for repair from Canada? I have. Look, I mean, I've had stuff arrive from overseas, and it's probably a 90% arrival rate. But I find where the problem is sending it back. Seems everything goes wonky on the way back for some reason. Alright. Yeah, the board is clean, because I cleaned it. So, all I'm expecting with this is to see if it actually draws power. We should not get any MagSafe activity, because the SMC isn't there. 13 milliamp. Now we need to see if we've got 342. Switch over to voltage. You watch, it's still going to be stuck down at 1.7 or something dumb. And will have removed the SMC for no good reason. Alright, 3.41, so my guess was correct. It's the SMC that's dodgy. Crap. Okay, so we're going to do an SMC. Which means it also was not... It's a half and half maybe warranty fault. It could be that the SMC was damaged or, you know, wounded, so to speak, when the original failure occurred, because we replaced the ISL, we replaced the fuse, we replaced, you know, all those sort of things, but, you know, we didn't change the SMC because it was behaving fine. It went through all the tests. And, you know, you don't go replacing things like SMCs on a whim, if you can avoid it. Alright. SMCs seem to be a really common point of failure. They do seem to be, but it's, I guess, maybe you hear about it more than they really do fail. Yeah, it's more a case of perhaps it's a, what am I thinking of? It's like, sometimes if you want to be famous, you tell people that you're famous. In the sense of, in order to become something, you tell people you are already that. And so with the SMC, it's kind of like people talk about the SMC being a common point of failure, and it seems like it's a common point of failure, but they're not that common. I mean, they're common enough, but we get shorts on the PP bus far more often, blown backlight drivers far more often. And of course it depends on what sort of work you're involved with. I think some areas tend to, maybe, you know, areas with bad power tend to cause different issues. Maybe people who are in lower socioeconomic environments, yeah, maybe they use cheaper, you know, non-genuine Apple MagSafes. So, you know, there can be reasons why it can be more prevalent in certain areas than others. In this case, I would probably say bad charger because there was no liquid damage originally, and there's, other than that HS105 chip, there's really no liquid damage here either. Alright, now we've got to find a 165 SMC 3437. I can actually now do 3437 SMC switches to 165s, but I'm not doing that today. When I say I can, I mean there is the possibility of doing so. There is a way of, if you can get the machine to boot, I think, to the EFI, then you can do a reflashing of the SMC through some fancy process. Pionov will know. Yeah, so we've got a 165. This is the one that actually blew its head off on the stream the other day. And we're going to use its SMC. Would you agree that bad design of LCD connector causes backlight driver failures? Which models are you talking about? The connectors that are on these particular machines, they are actually pretty good. Yeah, they've got guard lines between the important rails and all that. Most of the time, backlight drive failure tends to actually be because of the cable getting shorted out, because something's rubbed through the sheath and caused, some of the wires to make contact with the chassis. Bad screen, either maybe because someone dropped it, or liquid damage, of course, in any portion of that of the display system. But the actual electrical design, it seems to be, from what I can tell, seems to be okay. The one for the newer machines, where you get the 50 volts next to the back to the CPU line, that is a bit more of an issue. Yeah, maybe they should have put 2 guard lines between them. Maybe they didn't have enough pins left. I'm not sure. It's important to note, though, that with those particular ones, the new machines with the 50 volt thing, the shorting out's happening on the TC-Con board. It's not actually on the main board. If you look at the main board, that's where it shows you the 50 volt next to the data line. But on the TC-Con board, as far as I understand, they are actually not next to each other. However, it's still an issue. Yeah, just getting liquid on there, and it obviously is causing some sort of damage. Okay, that's off. I'm not really quite as Apple Bash happy as some people. In many ways, some people consider that to be my weakness, the fact that I won't lash out quite so quickly. I think part of that comes from the fact that I am also an electronics engineer, so you understand that there are certain compromises or limitations that you face with the design of these things. Crikey, that rain's pretty strong. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are certainly plenty of real botch-ups, and most of the time it's cost-cutting. So it generally doesn't come directly from the engineer's workshop or desk. There are some things where I wonder why things happened or why certain things were chosen. Like, Apple does have a tendency of getting a bit of a I don't know how to say this. They get a little hot and heavy over using the tiniest the highest spec parts in the tiniest package possible, even when you really don't have any reason to do that. Particularly on MacBook boards, most of the time you've got oodles of space to play with. iPhones, I get it, but on MacBooks, there's very little reason to do things like, stick a 330 microfarad 2.5 volt tantalum cap in the smallest packaging on the board, when you could have easily gone the next size up and alleviated a whole bunch of failed machines. But yeah, they do have this hello creature, mummified creature. Dear God, get out of there. What is this? The crypts of Charters Towers. So yeah, that is a bit of a weakness Apple has. Their lust for, that was the word I was looking for. Yeah, their lust for using the smallest parts possible, even when there's really no compelling reason. And it's not even because of a crossover to their iPhones, because their iPhones never used a cap like 2.5, 330 microfarad in that package. Yeah, never. Yeah, Daniel, maybe wash the optics of your microscope. Just don't disassemble it to wash them. If you disassemble the optics in your microscope, it's a terrible, terrible path back from that. So yeah, I do not recommend doing that. I myself have never done it. I grew up with camera optics and things like that, old film SLR cameras and things like that. And so you learn very quickly not to stuff around with optical elements that are contained within a sealed environment, unless you've got yourself a damn near perfect dust-free, smudge-free sort of environment to do it in, which most definitely this is not. Putting a 12 volt rail next to a low voltage connection on a chip, well, the thing is, 12 volts isn't too much of a problem. You're really not going to jump. I mean, at some point they're going to have to butt up against each other, just purely through the fact that, like, if you've got 12 volt and you've got a signal line, it's not a... You're not going to really, under normal circumstances, run into issues. I think the problem is that once liquid gets into the situation, all bets are sort of off. The 50 volt for the backlight thing, I feel like, okay, that is one area where you probably should have the extra precaution of, one or two guard pins in the way. But, I mean, on a typical chip, sort of like this chip here, or let's say the ISL 16259, that's going to have high voltage, low voltage pins right next to each other, and it's entirely normal. I think the problem is, once you get liquid into the system, yeah, your bets are off. It'd be very difficult. We'd basically have to go back to 0.1 inch or 0.25 millimeter, not 0.25, 2.5 millimeter pitch chips if we want to avoid it otherwise. I mean, it'd be nice, but hey, Rob Brown. It's just a case of that is genuinely becoming impractical at that point. Okay, two opposing pins. I mean, you look at the way that, say, when you have buck converters or boost converters, some of the voltages next to each other are a bit crazy. I think maybe what would be better is if we had better protection on those lines. Like if you had some TVS diodes or something like that sitting on the lines, and then maybe that's a better option overall, because you can put them at least back closer to the CPU. Again, it is a trade-off thing, and Apple's probably thinking, you know what? People just shouldn't get water on their computers. And you're kind of like, yeah, but there is a certain reality that you have to deal with too. I suppose Apple just sort of likes to hope that everybody doesn't do enough, as in, doesn't drag him into some sort of claims court too quickly. At least we know this part works just dandy fine. Oh no, that's just beautiful. Beautiful application. Except for that one there. Damn it. Honestly, I feel like Growling Sidewinder sometimes. Growling Sidewinder is a stream I watch where he plays, he does dogfighting and stuff like that with, in, what is it, DCS I think it is? Digital Combat Simulator. And it's just a bit funny because every time he starts to talk a little bit positive about something, that's usually when he gets a 30mm round to the face from an A10, or it's just amusing how many times he thinks he's getting somewhere and then bam, he's out of it. Alright, so I'm gonna let's try something else tonight. 390 is just too aggressive. I can't live with that. $330 and 40. We're gonna go slow. If you like dogfight, are you kidding me? There must have been flux on the stencil still. It shouldn't have been popping out like that. Seems like my process just gets worse and worse every damn time. I'm a cursed man. I'm deliberately massively overheating this at the moment. Okay. Put out a big snout, and I've already picked up some balls that I don't want to. That is terrible. I honestly feel what do you call it? Cursed. I used to have such beautiful reballing process with the SMCs. I'm gonna have to guess that maybe... Did Lewis take a trip to Haiti or something recently? Maybe a voodoo doll on me. No, I'm not going back to paste. Even with these dramas, I'm still better off using balls myself. That actually went pretty good. There's a couple there that I just had to push down like gopher heads. Or whack-a-mole, I mean. But that went pretty good overall. shite. It's actually still a little bit. Okay, we got one that came up there. That's going to be fun. So sad to have had that beautiful mojo and now nothing. Okay, so we got one that came free. Now, realistically, I know it's going to be silly to some of you, but I'm actually going to put that stencil straight back on. The reason being is that the ball knows where to go. Right there. Yeah, Rob, it's been surprisingly different to the Quick. Yeah, you can just see him flashing back to solid state as opposed to being analog. Give it a little bit of a paint. I'm going to hit it with some more hot air, and what this will do is now allow them to actually find their true centers, whereas before they were potentially being constrained by the position of the stencil. So when you take the stencil away and you do this, it lets them settle back down to where they actually wanted to be. There we go. It also gives me a chance to put some fresh flux on there, ready for application to the logic board. And it is surprisingly hot in my fingertips right now. Ouch. Look, we've got some free ones on the back. Samples for later. Yeah, I can see there's one pad there that's a little bit funny, and all that is it didn't get slurped up by the wick, but it's not going to be a major issue. I need bigger tweezers for this particular part of the process. Daniel, I went for the new one only because I could actually get my hands on it, and my Quick was starting to suffer just normal wear and tear in terms of, pardon me, it was the element was getting a bit old. I think that's pretty close. Yet somehow I'm paranoid and I'm going to lift the damn thing back up. Oh, that was actually good. That'll learn me. Okay, because it is leaded, we drop the air. We normally sit at about 90, we're going to drop down to 70. We keep the temperature the same, we just drop the air. And it's also because I don't want this thing flying off. At least trying really hard not to have it fly off. And you can see that bead developing around it. That's what I'm waiting for, and then when it actually sits down, that bead should flush right out, or push right out. Paul getting paranoid is wondering whether it actually already has sat down or not. No, there it goes. Still not perfect, there it is there, now it's sitting good. And it dances. Yeah, Miles, I am going to order a replacement element. Funnily enough, it actually probably won't fix things. Alright, we've got a... I'm guessing that's a piece of junk, but the question is, did that get in the way? What's going to happen is when I get a new element, the new element's going to be too powerful. Okay, I got lucky there. There was that piece of edge bonding still on there. Unfortunately, it did not interfere. Okie dokie. Let's see if we have any luck. 70 for, 70%. That's the other thing is with the Atom, they use a percentage. With the Quick, they use liters per minute, which I kind of prefer, to be honest. Okay, drum roll. And hopefully we don't get any like bang noises coming from that section there. Hey, that's alive. Now we just wait for our green blink. Takes a little while on the 165. Come on, green blink. Now's when just as I say now I'm starting to panic, that's when the green light will blink. For some reason my brain will not update that time required, and so every time I start to panic just as it is about to. Now we're going to replace this HS105 switch as well. Even though the corrosion just seemed more like a bit of random surface contact corrosion, it is not. I don't want this thing coming back to me. I mean, as it is, I don't think I'm going to have any success in demanding that this is in fact not a warranty job. On this particular one I used 470 for the SMC to put it back on. So it was 470 centigrade and 70% air. Normally I have it set at 470 and 90% air. I noticed Jason Vilma was very verbose about what air and temperature settings he was using. That was an interesting change for him. Normally we don't bother talking about the temperatures of the hot air station because it is such a variable thing. Like what I use could be completely different to what you will use, because maybe you hold your hot air station 2 centimeters further away than what I do. There are just too many parameters involved, but I suppose maybe people are just desperate for some sort of guidance, and at least from a kind of a starting point they can work from there. You know what, I'm not keen to take the HS105 from this because this is the blown PCH one, and the 105 is explicitly for the PCH. So it would be an amazing tragedy if if I found out it was the 105 switch that caused the problem. Triple five, I had one of those. I think so long as you can get the ones with the pump in the main body as opposed to in the handle. If you have a pump in handle, fan in handle type ones, then they're pretty much a nightmare to do anything with, other than the lightest of circuitry. But if you have a pump in body one, then yeah, well, myself and Jason and Chris Long, we all used one of those for a great time, a great period of time. So they're certainly viable, but they do tend to get a little bit weak when it comes to trying to handle the MacBooks. You find yourself languishing a bit too long on some jobs, trying to like remove the SMC and things like that. Pump in the 989, is that the one? That's the one with both the soldering station and the hot air in one, is it? Because I think the I don't know. I'm going to stop talking because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just pretending I know. I guess we should make sure it still works. Certainly, if you've got no other choice, or not enough room or budget, or you don't use it that often, then those combo units can be useful. But very quickly you do tend to find their limits. Okay, all good. Alright, so that is fixed. It was not a warranty job in the sense of it was not the work I did that failed. It was something else that failed. But it can be somewhat potentially argued that the damage, this replacement, or the thing that caused this to be damaged, could have weakened the SMC. I don't know. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about this one. Mostly because this particular client, they do send me a tremendous amount of stuff. They keep me fairly busy. And so I would rather eat the time and part loss on this to ensure that I maintain a cordial relation with this particular client than get all huffy over it. So okay, it's like, well, you got yourself another $270, $290 for this one job, but you lost many thousands over the next couple of months. So it's one of those PR exercises, I suppose. And it's up to the individual business. If it's your business, you get to decide what you're willing to live with. There are obviously going to be guides as to you shouldn't just take everything bending over. And I think it can be difficult for people weighing in to be able to, they don't have the context surrounding why you make that particular decision. You can try and describe it to them, but there could be nuances within that cannot be described, or you don't remember to describe. And so some people may say, well, you're a freaking moron, why do you do that? But there's a key piece of information that perhaps they're not seeing. Alright, so that's due for the wash, and we've got another job to get done. So that one there. And just put this back into the shelf. I mean, fundamentally, when it comes to business, you don't want to be a pushover, but at the same time, you don't want to be such a hard ass that you alienate your entire business base in the first year. Some people, it's up to you to find that balance, and the truth of whether you have or have not succeeded will be in your profits. Okay, so what have we got? We've got a Samsung that doesn't charge, I believe. What have we got here? Samsung tablet and charger, new battery please. Okay, so they just want a new battery. Try something different for a change in life. Hey Atrophy, morning. I need to put my little bottle of crack out of the way. Okay, little Samsung. I'm guessing you should come off not too difficultly. Why can't they make these things just, clip on, clip off? So wax on, wax off. I know these are pretty much going to be you got to get something down in between this bezel, the chrome bezel and the rest. We'll start out with a nylon spud, just see if we have any luck with that. If we don't, then we'll step it up to the metal. I really don't want to use the metal if I don't have to. It's the Galaxy Tab 4 actually. The Galaxy Tab 2 I think was one of the few that it would just pop straight off. Or, mind you, my memory is not so good when it comes to Galaxy Tabs. They're not the most. Here we go. Yeah. Gotta find the without breaking the screen, of course. That's always fun. It's the damn bezel that's shifting. There we go. I suppose I should remove the SD card first. Nothing in there, so it's good. I'm on a roll. Samsung tablet, throw it out. Well, personally, I've thrown out quite a lot that I've been given, but this is a customer job, so no. But you knew that anyway, and I'm just being pedantic. Come on. Interesting, being difficult at that point. What's happened to Stephen K? Just twist the feels like almost feels like it's had glue on it or something. Yeah, it really does. And I love it with these things when you get all three, you get three sides done, and then it just sort of like jams on the fourth side. Oh, what the hell are you guys? What is this? Something just... I think it's old... It might have been cover plastic from the bezel, funnily enough. There's this... Yeah, it looks like clear plastic cover for the chrome. Okay, we're in. I'm not going to say what other people say. I know there's a Flynn reference, but funnily enough, I've always thought that Flynn reference was referring to Tron, but it turns out it was not. So I refrain from referring to it now. The original Tron, not the god-awful new Tron that Garrett Hedlund destroyed, but the man is a professional movie destroyer. The only reason why Troy survived was because it had an overwhelmingly good cast in it that pushed aside his powers. God, I hate doing these. My wife's ears are probably burning right now. You saying something about Garrett? The original Tron was great. The new one, no. It was just cheesy and nasty. Beyond even what Disney could do. I mean, don't get me wrong, the original movie was certainly, it wasn't Oscar material or anything like that, but, it was pretty good. Especially the light cycles. You gotta love the light cycles. Watched it out of respect. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you did it once, and then it was like they disrespected it. What do you think about the new Blade Runner? I haven't actually seen that one. I have seen it on Netflix, I think it is, but I haven't watched it. I wasn't... I did enjoy the original Blade Runner, but I'm not really much into the fandom of it. I might have been maybe a year or two too young at the time that I got to see it the first time. So it was a bit of a weird concept, or yeah, I just didn't really quite get it as a 6 or 7 year old, whatever I was at the time. Okay, interesting. What's this lock mechanism they've got going on here? The new one was very artistic. Okay. Tell you what series I didn't mind was what was it? Carbon Active or Active? Shite, can't remember its name. It's on Netflix. What is it? Basically, where they have a chip in the back of their neck and they can transfer between bodies, stuff like that. And I think they had Edgar Allan Poe as the hotel manager. Altered Carbon, that's it. Yeah, the first series, I quite enjoyed that. I don't know about the second, I haven't watched it. I feel like it really probably was a single series type thing. Okay. Oh, that just popped out on its own. Interesting. New Lost in Space. The Lost in Space, I've got up to, I think, season 4, I think. I can't remember, 3 or 4. I started to actually get fatigued with it. Fatigued in the sense of there was just too much. Well, this doesn't want to come out. You really did not get more than 5 seconds of rest before they loaded up the new drama, whatever was coming up. And yeah, I get it. They got to keep it rolling, but it was just like, come on, you need a little bit of reprieve there. Felt like I was living Battlestar Galactica, the first part of the season, where they had to just keep running from the Cylons every 15 minutes or whatever it was. Okay, why won't this come out? Me feel very stupid. Oh shit. Okay, well, they got it out. Hey Jason. Fiber optic case lights. I can't imagine so. No, it's more of a it really is like a paint layer. I could handle the fast pace, but I just couldn't handle the non-stop pace. I mean, you would literally have them finally catching up with each other, and then before they can even finish hugging, something new's like pounding in on them. And they're like, what the heck? Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's just writer's discretion, I suppose, but it just sort of got to me after the 4th season or whatever it was. I was like, that's it, I'm out. Okay, there are lips here. Trying to understand how. So like there's these little lips here, and they've got to go over these portions here. Now I don't know whether you're supposed to just drive it in, but they don't actually have a bevel on them that would assist in the lifting phase of the drive-in, or whether you have to angle it in, or whether you just have to push these directly down on. Like I can do it this way, but I feel like that's actually going to break the tabs. The tabs have this natural tendency to just go in like this. Ah. I suppose I should even... No, just get it in, Paul. Just get it in. So this side works fine. That's easy. But I feel like this side is actually the one that has to go in first, because this one goes so easy. I don't really have a spudger that... I don't want to use metal for obvious reasons. There we go. Just had to lift them up myself. To raise them up. Now these ones have decided that they don't want to play ball. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Ish. Ah. Lekker, bro. I just watched Escape from Pretoria, which has, what do you call it, Leonardo DiCaprio in it. That's not too bad. Prison Escape. I was expecting some more. I'm happy it wasn't there, but I was expecting some more, like, heart-wrenching, oh no, we got caught sort of thing to happen, but it didn't, so that was good. I suppose I couldn't deviate too far from the true life story. It's certainly no escape from, was it Escape from New York with Kurt Russell? This one has to be bound by the realities that happened. What about Logan's Run? I actually didn't mind. I mean, it's old, obviously. Yeah, it was a pretty good movie when I watched it. There were a few things I didn't understand at the time. To give you an idea of how young I was when I first watched Logan's Run, I didn't understand why he was being shot at by his friend. And I said to my dad, why is his friend shooting at him? Dad's like, well, sometimes that happens. And it's like, okay. Yeah, I was very young when I saw Logan's Run. It was a bit scary for me at the time, particularly the damn robot in the ice chamber of eternity. Cats were cool. Just a shame that the guy died. Come on, man. Danke. And at this point we find out that the charge port was actually the real fault. Big Trouble in Little China, that was definitely my sort of era. Likewise, Ghostbusters. Haven't seen Afterlife yet. Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China was pretty good. Yeah, that is one very foobarred charge port. Yeah, I did see that it was a series, and we used to. I know it was on, but my sort of series life started with things like the A-Team, Murder She Wrote, Kit, what do you call it, Knight Rider, that sort of stuff. That was kind of my era. Things like Logan's Run, Two Ronnies, things like that. That was more my father's entertainment era. Even Star Wars sort of does technically predate me. Tell you what, I am really losing my nana over these connectors for the Samsung batteries. Are flying out loud. Street Hawk and Airwolf I didn't really see much. Wise Guy was more when I don't know if anyone knew Wise Guy. That was when I was getting a bit older. University-ish. Why didn't you want to come out? I really despise these connectors. Really do. What year did Star Wars come out? Was that, I don't know. Okay, what is the technically correct way to get these out? Because, yeah, there's the clips on the side here. How the frickin' heck are you getting them out? Thought it was 77. Just didn't want to. Thought it better to just, and with that, I break the connector. Fantastic. Marvelous. Yeah, I don't know why this connector is chosen. I'm sure there's a reason. Maybe cheapness. But it drives me absolutely bonkers wherever I find these connectors. Because I just end up damaging them. Dune, yeah, I did actually quite like Dune. Not just because Alicia Witt's in it. Certainly not at that age. It is scary though to watch Dune and realize how many people are in that movie that you know, later on became significant significant TV movie stars. Heaps of them. Oh, I need a Phillips head. Pull up Spudger cable. What? You like Jupiter Ascending? That's the one with Muscly Baby Man in it. What's his name? It was in that singing, dancing chipmunks show too. Magic Mike. Am I a Whovian? No, I'm not. I'm really not big into a lot of the stuff. For me, shows like Astro Boy. I was more of a cartoon person. Astro Boy, um, Battle of the Planets, Gatchamon, whatever you want to call it. Ulysses, Temples of Gold, all that sort of stuff. Pretty much every Australian kid knows about that. Oh, great. Now we've got another tricky choice here. Travis, you're disappointed. What did I miss? Apart from everything. Ah, yeah, Channing Tatum. Yeah. I call him. Oh, fuck. Just broke my. Yeah, I call him Baby Boy, man. I don't know. There's just something about him. I don't have a problem with him or anything like that. It's just more interesting that he strikes me as just this. Damn it! Cannot get that off. Doesn't want to come off in that direction. It is a completely contained unit. Muscle Baby, yeah, that's it. He just looks like, as opposed to say, who's the guy that plays Alcide in True Blood? Yeah, Alcide. Now there's a man, sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm fully into my women, but my God, you can't help but deny that Alcide is a fine piece of machinery. Kind of like, what's his name? Witcher man. Superman. He does better as Witcher, in my opinion. Danger Mouse. Danger Mouse I found a bit frustrating, but yeah. Channing Tatum, 21 Jump Street. That actually, yeah, he was actually quite good in that. That was a pretty damn good show. The remake, especially with his associate. What was? Okay, this is a really god awful replacement by the looks of it. It's got more bodginess about it than I've ever done. Yeah, his associate, isn't he the guy that's also out of Wolf of Wall Street with DiCaprio? He does it, or is that a different guy? Actually, I think it's a different guy. Sorry. Hope the new Stargate won't be too woke. Well, if the the most recent seasons of Star Trek Discovery are any guide, then you're pretty much doomed. I was fairly, the new Star Trek, I was pretty happy with it. And it had Michelle Yeoh in it, so that was pretty good. But, and I didn't have a problem with most of it, but then towards the end of it, well, I should say, the way they started season 3, I think it was, when what's her name landed on the planet after the time portal, the way they started that, it was just like, oh crap, so we're going to go crazy here. Anyway, but I guess they're just trying to find a new audience. And I'm not a big Trekkie fan anyway, but I was enjoying the Discovery series up to that point, in spite of certain things. First Star Trek movie, I remember watching that. My father made me watch it, and it was well, when I say made me watch it, it was more a case of he said, watch this, it's a good show. And that was the one with V'Ger, of course. And it was a little bit weird for me to watch because I was, again, at that simpleton phase. And is this botched up, this connector? And I couldn't understand why there wasn't more fighting and all that, because I was like, we just watched Star Wars, and it was all exciting with fighting and stuff, and now you want me to watch this Star Trek, and it's got Star in it, it's got spaceships in it, why aren't they shooting and stuff? Apparently it was an intellectual show or movie. I wasn't prepared for that. Intellectual. Pfft. What did my father think I was? Any good resource on VCR tuning? Well, no idea for that. Hello, Francis, by the way. How's that software going, by the way, Francis? Did you get the net list up yet? I'm guessing not. Not that it's your fault, but... well, it looks like we are charging. Now I've got to work out which one's the ON, OFF button. I'm going to guess this one up here. Okay, seems like we're alive. Space Odyssey, I must admit, I have actually not watched that end to end. See, Rob Brown agrees, went to hell up season 3, or on season 3. Other good shows I liked were Justified and Deadwood. You bunch of cocksuckers. Anyway, yeah, Deadwood was excellent. And Justified, initially I didn't really get into Justified. I was like not sure what I was watching. But then I sat down, gave it another shot, and I was hooked. And of course, Timothy Olyphant, a strange character, but you gotta admit, he really does pull off that cowboy style very well. Seems like he's born for it. Okay, I'm just tapping around on this, trying to find out what my battery performance is like. Jason, that would be an excellent mod. And then when you try to turn into traffic, it will be like, I'm sorry, I cannot allow that. Or whatever it is that crucial line is. Let's see. Device. Notifications. Where the hell's the battery data on this thing? I can't work out if what's on this battery icon here. Oh, Frankenheck. Okay, it looks like there's an X or something, or is it? It looks like it's kind of marked out. Not sure what. Yeah, it's definitely a red X in that battery. Quantum Leap. Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of other shows I've forgotten about. WizKids. That was a very short-lived one. Yeah, where is the... Is it controls? I really do not like Android stuff, I'm sorry to say. It's laggy and, I don't know. General, accounts, cloud, backup, device manager, accessories. Ah, battery, finally. Sheesh. Not charging. Spantacular. Why are you not charging, fishy? Okay, not charging. Alright, let's try a different cable. And a different power brick for that matter. The ribbon cable has been replaced. That's the problematic part now. One day and 20 hours left for charging? Seriously? What's going on there? So I was happier with the new charger at least. All the specs are wrong. So I got minus 2,000 seconds or something like that. I'll just put my current meter onto that and see what it's drawing. Zero amps. Well, yeah, that would explain why it's going to take so long. Alcohol that you use to clean, is it drinkable? No, certainly not. You would not want to drink that alcohol, including the ethanol, because the ethanol is denatured or it's tainted. Yeah, this is definitely not charging. I'll try this cable with the Samsung brick. See what happens. I have actually encountered this before with these Samsung tablets, where you replace the battery and you replace the charge flex and it's still a dead end. Yep, 0 amps. It's not charging at all. Yeah, it's a Galaxy Tab 4. Now the question is it the charge flex at fault, or is it the battery, or is it the onboard electronics? Most likely the onboard electronics. And the response on the touch is woeful. See you later, Rob. What should I do if it goes in the eye accidentally? Just flush it out, you'll be okay. It's not caustic, so it should displace quite quickly with water, and yeah, given that alcohol is inherently very water soluble, then it should be okay. Is the fuse kaput? Maybe that's happened. Maybe it... this is going to be interesting. People are going to say, well, the battery's still connected. You can't measure it. But because I'm actually measuring on the one line, I can do this. And alas, the fuse is fine. Actually, it's probably not even a fuse. It could be a... Since it's got 010, it might be a current sensor. Well, the battery is fine. Is the cable flex properly seated? I'd imagine so. It looks, I can't really jam it in much further than that. That's as far as I can pretty much go. I really don't have any more distance on that one. And you can see the white stripe is lining up with the gold marking on the circuit board too. Yeah, charge IC, but here's the thing. Where is the charge IC on this, and is it really even worth me doing? Because what else could go wrong? Okay, that's not perfectly down, but that wasn't the cause, that's something else. That could be the touch, maybe. It sees the battery, and it's interesting that when I changed to a different cable and such, it actually went from saying fault issue to just simply I'm not charging. I mean, look, I'll be honest and say this is a pretty shonky port, but yeah, not worth doing, I think. Yeah, you can pick one of these up for $100 maybe somewhere, I don't know. I'll talk with the owner and say, look, you know, we changed this over, it still didn't fix it. The charge port was destroyed, and yeah, maybe that did take out the charger IC, and subsequently, you know, it's not really worth investing any further money into it. I mean, as it is, I've already wasted my time now, because if they back out, then I'm like, yeah, I've got a battery I can't use, and I've got a flex that I can't really use. Samsung does use dual voltage chargers on the USB port, the USB-A. Adaptive fast charger, okay. What have they got here? Oh yeah, you're quite right about that. I see that on here now. Should they not still charge at 5 volts though? Normally Red-X is low amp charging. Okay, Wayne. We'll try that then. Kind of curious to see what it does if I put the current measure on it. I don't know if these things can handle 9 volts. Guess we're going to find out. What a way to live and die. Okay, interesting. It's showing 5 volts and 400 milliamp. So looks like Wayne might have saved the night. So we'll see if that changes up from 55. How much power? 55%. There you go. Hey, John Mello, Scoop Dog. That's good. I was not aware of the 9 volt attribute of these Samsung chargers. Well, there you go. You learn something. That's fun. But I don't know if this will switch up to 9 volts or whether the current sensor, the current meter in line there is actually going to inhibit that. What's this? I just paid $12 to Walt Disney. What the? Oh man, I didn't even watch anything on Walt Disney the last month. God damn it. Oh yeah, I did actually. Not $12 worth though. Right now it is, yeah, 5 volts, 400 milliamp. So it's going to take a while to go up from 55. Well, look, we'll put the back on. We'll put our screws in, put the back on. See how we go from there, shall we? And I'll just leave it on all night. High risk scenario here because I will be screwing in this and it is actually going to be alive. At least I did think to get a replacement charge port flex, because I think that was the actual true fault. I have a feeling that their battery might not actually be problematic, but let's see, what year was it? Okay, that said, this is a 2014 release pack, so yeah, it's not puffed up or anything. And this one, is this any better? This one they've decided not to mark when they manufactured it. That's some smart thinking there. Hey hippie, thank you very much for the Australian $5. Aussie. Oh yeah, it's Australia Day, that's right. By now it is. Yeah, 1:32. Better put my patriotic pants on, which means I won't be wearing any pants. Because I'm not a patriot. Don't get me wrong, I love Australia. I'm just not into that whole Aussie oi oi isms. You won't find me down at Sydney beaches beating up people. Cracky, it takes a while to get these things rolled back into their proper placement. Oh, I dare say it's potentially a fake. Well, we shouldn't say fake, but certainly a aftermarket. It wouldn't surprise me. Was it just turn on? There we go. And now we're down to 46%. What the? And it thinks it's too hot. I saw a temperature. Oh no, not this. Okay, I've seen this fault before. Warning. Temperature too hot. Travis, yes, you're invisible. So use that as your superpower. Sometimes it's just bad luck when it comes to chat streams. I know there's been many a time where I've been, say, in a Lewis Rossman stream, and he has managed to miss every single damn one of my comments. Of course, it could mean that he's just ignoring me, which I suppose I have to respect that. I don't approve of it, but I have to respect it. Oh, we're down to 38%. We've got a short circuit going on here. Something is shorting or draining, or I don't know what's going on here. I can't feel any heat that would be equivalent to what one would expect for this sort of discharge rate. I mean, that's almost on fire type rate. Yeah, the battery's probably junk. I would certainly go with the battery being junk. We'll see. Maybe it actually just needs to fully charge, then discharge, and then it'll have a better idea of what. The battery symbol was the little red X in it or whatever. Man, I really need to amp this brightness up. What am I doing? Device, display, brightness. Oh yeah, thank you. Oh, that's much better. Send Lewis a mail if you want him to read anything. He doesn't read comments. Oh, look, yeah. He knows I'm there. He occasionally will say, I hear there's an Australian in the chat. He knows I'm there. He's just ignoring me. He's deliberately antagonising me, I think. Either that or he's just, to be honest, look, in all seriousness, he's just so busy with everything. And I think he already knows that he already makes so many comments my way that he doesn't really feel compelled to need to chat with me or anything like that, because we do that outside of such streams anyway. Right, 36% not charging. Yeah, we're kind of boned. Yeah, not charging. Riston, what will that do? Why would I put that in? What will that do? Oh, the service menu. Really? Okay. Apologies for being paranoid, but that is to be expected. What you say? Calculator app. Calculon. Geez, I don't know if there's even a calculator in here. Just give me a moment. Right. Calculator. Right. Crikey. Plus 3, oh, okay, here we go. Plus 3. Okay, plus 3. 001201 2732 2732 plus star hash naught. What? I don't even have that here. Okay, clearly I'm using the wrong one. Oh, the bracket, right. My apologies. There I was thinking that. Okay, they've got it in a different mode here. I need to... How do you change... Oh, right there. Bracket, right. Gotcha. Whoa, factory mode. Okay. Star hash naught. Star hash naught. Star hash. What do I do from here? Doesn't seem to have done anything after I've put in star hash. Did I put that in wrong maybe? Star hash naught star. Star hash, yep, I did that wrong. Star hash naught star hash. Okay, and what do I need? Open terminal, run. Okay, what am I looking for here? I've got sensors, touch, sleep, sub, front cam, back, red, green, blue. What's next? Sensors, okay. Accelerator data, and that's about it. Is there another sensor? Well, that's pretty cool anyway. Oh well. That was definitely something very interesting. I should probably eliminate that. Oh, good, it's gone. Right. Didn't want to leave that there in case people think I'm hacksering them. And yeah, we're stuck at 34% still. Oh well. It's probably a shonky battery. I wonder if I could. Oh man, I've clipped it all back together. Son of a gun. I was going to say, I wonder if I could have actually put this battery back in here, but this is a 8-year-old battery, so probably pushing my luck, and most likely it is probably going to be a charge controller or something at fault as opposed to the battery itself, because this battery does get recognized and it's using its power. It just can't do anything with charging it, so it's a bit of a shame. Oh well. I'm kind of curious why it was drawing the 400 milliamp before though. Bugger. Power off. Alright, well, that's it. That's enough for me. It's already 2 o'clock in the morning almost, and I most certainly need to get some sleep. So I appreciate everything that you've done. I appreciate the help there. But I think this time we're going to have to take the losses. At least we did manage to get that warranty one sorted out. And that 1708, I'll have to do some more look-a-loos around it, check the voltages and things like that, but that's the way it goes. Okay, well, thank you all for watching, and I will probably see you maybe tomorrow, maybe another day. But, oh, what? Before you scoot? No, I've already shut it down. I'm going to sleep, otherwise I'll be stuck here forever. But, Riston, send me that on email so I can test it in the morning, okay? I'll do that in the morning. Just send it. I really am tired. I need to go to sleep. So, I'll catch you all later. Thank you very much. See ya.